ראש ממשלה ומשרדים וההשקעות הכספיות בטיפול.
nach den Richtlinien so vorgenommen worden sind, wie wir das für richtig halten. Das heißt,
Another dark evening on the radio show. The talk was over. Almost time to go. What's the harm in one more caller? But out of the microphone comes a holler.
Your night is over.
The voice proclaims. It spews its filth with awful names.
You just wait.
The caller said.
I'm coming for you. Then you'll be dead.
After that comes silence with a click. The caller's prank was oh so sick. I lean back in the chair I sit, trying to think nothing of it. But still, my heart wants to pound. Nervously I look around. No one else in the studio tonight, not another soul in sight. I wonder who the dark caller was. I seem to recognize the voice because I heard it behind me, laughing away. He says this will be my very last day. Quickly, I try to jump up from my seat, but it's too late. He's got me beat. He holds a gun to my head. The laughing stops. He's seeing red. Realizing the mic is still on, I call for help before I'm gone. No one seems to want to reply. Not even one call as I begin to cry. He says to me,
There's no one to help you.
And I see he's right. Nothing I can do. The gunman turns the volume up loud. He wants to speak to the crowd. Still laughing, he calls through the mic.
To all the callers, this one you'll like.
He punches me right in the face. Bleeding already, he sprays me with mace. I scream out in pain and agony. Through the blood I cannot see, but by my ear I hear the hammer click back. It seems tonight will be a fatal attack. Through the radio echoes a boom, and all the listeners know of my doom. Now it's over, so the gunman does leave. Many calls come in from those who grieve, but through the static someone does speak. Now the listeners may have answers to seek. They all hear something that can't be right. Everyone hears me call good night.
Hey, Billy, why do you look so down?
Aw, Dad, I got a computer, a PlayStation, and a barn full of iguanas, and I'm still bored.
Gee, Billy, when I was your age, I would read lots of stories in pulp magazines. Oh, with stories of weird adventure and fantasy, horror, satire, and lots of action.
Wow, that sounds great, Dad.
Yeah, I sure wish there was something like that right now.
There is, Daddy-O!
Who are you?
I'm Dr. Mary Von Rocksprocket, host of the Twisted Pulp Radio Hour. And now there's...
Yeah?
Twisted Pulp Magazine!
What's that, Doctor?
Why, it is a return to greatness! Available on all your digital devices! That is what it is! Look!
Whoa! Dad, this looks awesome!
exciting, and, dare I say it, very unwholesome.
You definitely have that right, my good man. Ha ha!
Thanks, Dr. Mary.
My pleasure, Billy. And just between you and me, I am not sure that this man is really your father. Bye.
Dad?
Just read your Twisted Pulp magazine, Billy.
Twisted Pulp Magazine, available in dark alleyways behind meth labs everywhere, or at Amazon.com or archaicmedia.info. That is ARCHAICMEDIA.info.
Spirit of the Law by Jason Norton. Let the record reflect that the defendant possesses no receipt for his alleged stay at the Heritage Hotel, and, according to a sworn affidavit, neither the hotel manager nor his staff members recall his patronage, despite his claim that he was sleeping in a room there at the time of the murder, Sperryville prosecutor Adelaide Gardner said, rolling the brass chain of his pocket watch between his meaty fingers. "Objection!" exclaimed the sallow scarecrow of a man squirming on the witness stand. It seemed large enough for him to swim in. Gardner waited for a solid quarter minute, looking first to the jury, then to the Honorable Quentin Van Meter, once it became apparent that the defendant would expound no further. Mr. Tisdale, legal procedure requires that an objection be predicated by relevant argument. Do you have one? Judge Van Meter asked. Tisdale gritted his front teeth, his papery skin wrinkling beneath his nose. No, Your Honor, he said. Mr. Tisdale, I'll remind you again, it is your prerogative to refuse counsel and defend yourself, but you are still expected to abide by the rules of this court. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Honor, Tisdale said, reining in the stare that would certainly wind him up in contempt. Gardner pressed on. You didn't stay at the Heritage, Mr. Tisdale. You know that, and we know it too. Instead, you stayed at Jenny Hampton's house. You rode in from Buckley and came upon her place on the outskirts of town. Gardner waited to see if Tisdale would tip his hand, but the frail fellow didn't flinch. How'd you get her to open the door? Gardner continued. Make like a beggar, tell her you were lost and starving out on the plain, or maybe you asked her if she knew the Lord. That it? Wanted to maybe have you come in and witness to her? Tisdale shook his head. No, that's not. You stayed there at young Jenny's place, Gardner cut over him. You stayed there with that poor girl, not 3 months a widow. After, he boomed, stretching the word into 3 syllables. After, you bludgeoned a 3-inch hole into the back of her skull. Isn't that right? A trio of stern gents on the jury grumbled. A chorus of female gasps echoed through the courtroom. The rattle of handheld fans punctuated the din. Order! Van Meter demanded, his gavel thundering with the fury of Hephaestus. Order, he repeated, this time, reminding the jury of their neutrality before commanding Tisdale to answer. Like I said before, Judge, I didn't kill that girl. I never even seen her, he said, working up his best apathetic profile before turning toward the jury. They didn't seem convinced. Far from it. All 12 men stared at him as if they'd fight to man the gallows. If he was going to start defending himself, he'd have to go on the offensive. Judge and rules and order be damned. I was framed. The Sperryville sheriff and his deputies set me up. I was just drifting through, looking for work in the mines like I'd been doing in all these towns the past 4 months. Ran afoul of a deputy while I was sleeping on the back step of the local saloon on account of I'd run out of money and couldn't stay at the Heritage no more. And there wasn't no work, so I couldn't earn. I was planning on lighting out the next morning, but that deputy hauled me in. Claimed an eyewitness pegged me leaving the scene of that murder the night before. I told him same as y'all, he said to the jury. I'd been staying at the Heritage when that girl got killed. I can't help it if nobody remembers that. The jury looked unmoved. Mr. Tisdale, you did ride into Sperryville on the night in question, correct? Gardner asked. Yes. And before that, you'd stayed in Anderson and Buckley and White Spring and Scottsburg all over the course of the 2 months prior. Isn't that correct? Tisdale hesitated. Mr. Tisdale, answer the question, please, the judge prodded. Yes. Gardner turned toward the jury. And were you aware that each one of those towns experienced at least one, if not sometimes multiple, stretched like warm taffy, homicides during those 2 months? Tisdale waited again, wishing he had that 10-pound sledge right now, wishing he could bound the vast canyon of the witness stand, scale its massive face, dash headlong to the jury box, and drive it through the bloated, sweaty softness of Adelaide Gardner's face. I heard about him, he said. He watched the jury over Gardner's shoulder, their faces ever hardening. The one on the bottom row, far left, leaned forward, looked ready to pounce. His eyes, his jawline, something about him seemed familiar. None of those murders have been solved, Mr. Tisdale. Were you aware of that? When Gardner turned, Tisdale noticed his pocket watch was open now, as if a conviction was imminent. That's because you killed those folks and just haven't been arrested yet, right, Mr. Tisdale? An axe would work just as well, Tisdale decided. Would take a while, but he could make so many gratifying pieces out of that smug prosecutor. I ain't answering that. I don't have to, do I? Tisdale asked the judge. You have the option of invoking your Fifth Amendment right not to answer if... Van Meter's explanation trailed off somewhere Tisdale's ears could no longer visit. He was too busy studying the jury again. He was sure the tall man 3 seats from the right on the top row, one of the grumblers, had sported a full head of bushy black hair not 5 minutes earlier. Now it looked greasy, almost matted down with pomade. Mr. Tisdale! Mr. Tisdale! Van Meter repeated louder. Tisdale whirled as if stirred from a dream. Do you wish to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to not answer the prosecutor's question on the grounds that... Yes, Your Honor, Tisdale managed. Van Meter paused. Are you all right, Mr. Tisdale? Tisdale wasn't exactly sure. He looked back at Grumbler number 2, and his hair was still matted, but a swatch had gone missing, as if he were a spooked sheep who'd bolted when the shears made their first cut. A chill pinched Tisdale's toes, prickling the insides of his toothpick thighs. I'm fine, he said. Just a little faint is all. Do you need a moment? No, Your Honor, he said, rocking heel to icy toe in his chair. Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness at this time, Gardner said. Tisdale breathed a sigh of relief. He'd had his fill of the fat man's questions. Mr. Tisdale, you may step down, Van Meter said. Easier said than done, Tisdale thought, teetering to a stand. It was a long, rickety return to the defense table, and he leaned on it as he lowered himself to his chair. Grumbler, too, coughed, once again drawing Tisdale's eye. The barren patch of scalp had grown larger. Gardner shuffled the stack of papers on his own table. The prosecution would like to call Jenny Hampton to the stand, he boomed. Tisdale peered at the grumbler, whose left eye slowly began to close. Within seconds, it began to swell. Had a wandering bee, perhaps as intent as everyone else in this town to see the diabolical Hermie Tisdale executed, stung the queer juror? Wait, a watery voice skittered across his brain. Did he just call Jenny? Tisdale turned to find Jenny Hampton decidedly alive, walking down the aisle like a June bride. Her periwinkle dress was just as he remembered, her flaxen hair coiled up into a bun, just like on what Gardner had called the night in question. She turned toward him as she passed, her piercing blue eyes instantly fogging, one to a cataract white, the other to a red as bright as a Carolina strawberry. When she took another step forward, he saw the back of her head, or rather what used to be her head. Now, a hole, gaping black and gray, had taken up residency. Her once beautiful hair was stained with blood, decorated with bits of bone and brain like some grisly Sioux headdress. She crumbled into the witness chair, and her head flopped sideways, spilling a thin gray slime onto the stand's pristine finish. Excuse me, she said to Van Meter, who Tisdale noticed was suddenly sporting a red boutonniere. No, not a flower, a gunshot wound, right through his heart. The hole dripped red, dyeing the judge's robe purple as it spread. Think nothing of it, my dear, Van Meter said with a smile. Ms. Hampton, Gardner said, as his left arm began to tear away from his torso, can you identify the man who murdered you? Jenny Hampton raised a white, decaying hand toward Tisdale. With the only 2 skeletal fingers she had left, she pointed directly at Tisdale. It was him, she said. No further questions, Gardner said. The prosecution rests. The fat man wavered as his teeth and tongue and bottom jaw hit the floor with a wet squelch. Tisdale fell backwards, his chair clattering beneath him. He scrambled to his feet, hoping the jolt would scare away the phantasm intruding his brain. It didn't. Grumbler 2's head sunk inside itself, his eyes bursting and spewing as his nose exploded in red. At the back of the courtroom, a former farmer's throat peeled apart, leaving a second leaking mouth beneath his chin. Gravity won, wrenching his head from his gore-soaked shoulders. One by one, the rest of the assembled wilted, withered, and wasted, dying in increasingly gruesome ways. But much like the fully animated Jenny Hampton, they kept right on living. Have you reached a verdict? Van Meter asked. Guilty, a gray-soaked jury member, apparently the foreman, mumbled over the cascade of well water spilling from his nose. He shot me, another called out. Stuck a spade through my guts, Grumbler 3 said, holding the slip-sliding remnants with both his hands. But I didn't kill, Tisdale stammered, backsliding. Oh, you didn't kill us all, Van Meter said. But we were all killed, and one murderer is just as bad as another. And here in Sperryville, he said, smiling once more at Jenny, we take care of our own. The jury rose, crawling and falling toward Tisdale, but leading the pack, moving faster than her exposed brain should allow, came Jenny Hampton. He blinked, and she was upon him, her mismatched eyes mere inches from his, and the only sound more frightening than her rattled breathing was the sound of the courtroom door locking behind him.
TULPA by Jack J. Ward.
Who's there?
Celeste? What are you doing here?
Turn on the light. I can't see you.
Celeste, how'd you get in here?
How'd I get... I live here. Who are you? What are you doing here?
Stop joking, Cel.
Where's Brandon?
What do you mean, where's Brandon? You know where Brandon is, Celeste. How'd you get in here anyway?
Don't come any closer.
Okay, take it easy.
I'll call the police.
Look, just put the knife down, okay? Why's the table set?
For Brandon. He'll be here. Any minute. He's gotta be. I've been waiting so long.
Okay, listen to me, Cel. You're confused. You left Bran weeks ago.
What? No. Stay back!
Okay, I'm not going anywhere, okay? Can you just put down the knife, and we'll talk.
We don't have anything to talk about. Go! Now, I told you! Brandon will be here any minute!
Brandon, I know why Brandon isn't here. I know why he hasn't come.
Where is he? Did you do something to him? If you hurt him...
No, I didn't. Listen, I'm just going to sit down and we can talk, okay?
Okay.
You don't have to put down the knife. What's this? Salmonella suda, the fruits of contemplative life, the essence of nirmita?
I don't know. They're Brandon's, I guess. He never told me about them.
I never knew he was into Buddhism. Celeste, you need to think. When did you last see Brandon?
I don't know. I just woke up and he was gone and I miss him so much.
So do I.
Where is he?
He's gone, Cel. Like 6 days now.
Gone? No. He was just here.
He's gone, Cel.
Where? Where?
Gone.
No, that's not possible. How?
When he found out about you and me.
You? I don't even know who you are.
Cel, honey, we live together. We have for 2 weeks. You moved out of here like a month ago. Remember, I came back from overseas after my tour, and things weren't going well with Bran, and we...
Oh. No! Why are you lying to me? I couldn't. I love Brandon, and he's coming back. He's coming back, and he's gonna come through that door any minute, and...
He's not, Celeste. He's not coming back.
Oh, what are you doing?
It's okay. I'm just getting my phone. I'm going to play our answering machine for you. I'm going to call home, and you'll hear our voices. We recorded the answering machine when you moved in. I'd show you pictures, but you know I hate taking pictures on my phone.
I don't know anything about you.
Okay, just let me dial, okay? I'll hit speaker, and you'll hear.
Hello? Hello?
Celeste?
Oh, Jeremy! What are you trying to do? Creep me out? You know I hate it when you don't say anything on the phone.
I'm sorry. Where are you?
Where am I? Should I ask what you're wearing? Is this gonna be one of those phone calls again?
I...
Who is that on the phone? I hate to break the mood, lover, but I'm down in the laundry room doing a second load. Not exactly a perfect time for a sexy call. Lover? Jeremy, are you still there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still here.
Who is that on the phone?
Could
you maybe pick up some Chinese tonight? I'm just beat. And who is that with you? Who is that on the phone?
Look, I gotta call you back.
Who are you talking to?
Just someone here. I'll call you right back. Bye.
Who was that?
It's Celeste.
I'm Celeste. I'm Celeste!
I don't understand how this is happening.
Why won't Brandon come home? He's gonna be home anytime. And when he gets here, he'll make you leave, and then we can be together, and everything will be perfect.
Will be perfect?
It is perfect. It's perfect now, and it will just stay that way.
Who are you?
You need to leave. You need to go.
I came here to start packing Brandon's things.
No! I'll call the police. They'll stop you. Brandon'll be here.
He's not coming. Don't you understand? He died a week ago.
No! No, it's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Brandon!
Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. You said you don't know about these books.
What has that got to do?
He was telling me something before he was angry, and I can understand. But she left, and he didn't think that...
Brandon, where are you? Why aren't you home? I'm so scared without you.
He said that she wouldn't leave. He wouldn't be alone.
Please, leave. Brandon will be here.
He said that he was... Wait a minute. It says here, tulpas are magic formations generated by a powerful concentration of thought. It is a materialized thought that has taken physical form. Physical form.
I've asked you to leave. Why don't you leave? Can't you see? I just want to wait till Brandon gets home. I'll make him dinner and everything.
Everything will be all right. Celeste, there's only one way any of this makes sense.
What?
You're not here.
What do you mean I'm not here?
I mean, you're at my place, our place, doing laundry, and I'm not talking to you right now.
Brandon, where are you? Why don't you come home?
He's dead, Celeste. He died. He took his own life, and God help me, I'm going to feel guilty for the rest of my life because of it. Because I loved him, and I couldn't stop him or be here when he needed me.
What are you saying?
And if Celeste is at home waiting for me, there's really only one thing that makes any sense, and it's impossible, but it's the only thing.
Why don't I feel right?
Because Brandon did love you, Celeste. He loved you so much that when he heard about the ancient Tibetan belief in tulpas, magical creations, I read about them once. The monks believed that if you focused long enough and hard enough...
Where did you say Brandon is?
You can create an object or being out of pure wanting. And that's what Brandon wanted more than anything, Celeste.
I made dinner for when he'll get home.
He wanted things to work out with you. And when they couldn't...
Brandon, where are you? Where are you?
He thought you up. But even a tulpa can't exist if it's not being thought about. And maybe it took you a little too long to materialize. Maybe by the time he had thought you into existence, the perfect life with Celeste, he had given up. Celeste.
Yeah? I'm here. What's up?
Nothing. I wanted to hear your voice.
You pick up Chinese yet?
No. No, I'm still at Brandon's place.
You okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay. Celeste.
Uh-huh.
You loved Brandon, right?
Jeremy, what?
I mean, you really loved him once, didn't you?
Yeah. I really did. But don't be upset about it.
No, I'm not upset. Actually, I'm kind of glad.
Glad?
Yeah. I think we all deserve a little happiness, don't you?
Jeremy, maybe you should pack up later. I told you, if I could go there, I would have before, but...
Ghosts. No, I remember. Too many memories for you, too. Maybe I'll have to wait until another day. The apartment's paid up till the end of the month.
Good idea. Come home, okay? I miss you.
I miss you, too. So, Chinese, aren't you going to make dinner for me?
You know I hate cooking.
I forgot. I'll see you soon.
Love you.
I love you, too.
This is Jackie Ayers, and you've been listening to Dead Airwaves on KKRN, Episode 2. Dead Radio by D.S. Scott, read by Victor Auralius. Spirit of the Law by Jason Norton, read by Nancy Bueler. Tulpa by Jack J. Ward, starring the Chatterbox Theater Players. Music by Sharon B. Theme music by Tim Slade.